Yes, class. We begin with what we had covered yesterday. This is but a quick review of how to. Okay, we're going to cover how to make Excel formula dynamic with the use of the hash sign in Excel. Now, to begin working on this, actually there is some data set here, as you can see from your end. We have a data set that has the one column for sales rep, the other column is for items sold, the respective items sold by that particular sales rep, and finally, as you can see from here, is the total sales made by that particular sales rep for that particular item sold. Yeah. In the previous class, we were able to clean this data such that it makes this data appealing to the reader and to the use of that particular information. So in this session, we are ideally going to cover what I term as making Excel formula dynamic with the use of hash sign. And in this context, we are also going to incorporate the use of what we call let me just check out what it is, what we call the filter. Yes, how to filter this data so that it automates some work that we'll be able to do here. So with me here I've actually tried to come up with some data set, a dashboard that will summarize whatever we will be able to do throughout this session. And mind you, once we are done, then it helps you. This will help you. This will have an impact of having a long-term what, how can I describe it, a long-term impact of automating work and so on and so forth at the workplace. So the very first fundamental thing to do, just to go straight to the point, you want us to come up with something like a dashboard. I want somewhere here I can write here, this is a dashboard. You can term it as a dashboard, and it also be good if I light this and make some shading. Maybe what color can do, that can do. Okay, yeah, that can do. So what I want us to do, I want us in this dashboard, I want us to have some information whereby we'll have our items. Let's have one column for items sold. This is here, if you can see from my table. And perhaps we can also have the average sales made for that particular period. We also have a minimum sales made. We also have maximum sales made for that case. And also let's have the sales rep count. Yes, we want to count the number of sales reps that made perhaps sales of different items and so on and so forth. We'll be able to see all this once we compute our work. So I want under items sold, the very first item, as you can see from the table, we can have the cars as the very first item sold. And what we also want to do, I want us to come with some filter data here, and under this data we want to filter let's have sales rep here. The name of our sales rep, we'll be able to compute one. Additionally, we may have our items sold, and finally we need to have a column for sales. So what I want us to come up with is a criteria that will be able to compute the cells automatically, and in this case we'll be able to use the function called yes, this function. You can all see the function called filter. So ideally what we want to do, we want to filter this data so that it automatically, or rather it automates our sales. So the very first fundamental step we're going to take is under rep, sales rep, we come and input the equal sign. The equal sign is usually used once you want to compute any formula, or any could be a formula or the other one. Yes, so we first have to go to input an equal sign, and then we input our function, which is none other than filter, the filter function. So once you input the equal sign, come and type filter. So that's not the right spelling for filter. So we have the filter function here. Once you've input your filter function, now on the array we come and compute from sales rep. We have the shift button all the way to sales items sold, and sales. Remember, we need all the data that is in this table. So what we do, I first highlight the topic part of it, sales rep, items sold, and sales. And finally what we do, once you've clicked your shift button, click shift, control, and then the downward arrow, you will have computed, you will have highlighted the entire data. So that is for the array. And then there's something here we need to include. What do we include? We want to include our item sold, and what we do, we still have to once you've clicked item sold, click shift, control, and the downward arrow. You will have highlighted all that data because you are much interested in it. So what we do, once we are done with that, we input an equal sign. Now after inputting an equal sign, we come here, we'll be able to compute one for cars. Once we've highlighted the cars, we now do what? We close, we hit a closing parenthesis, and then enter we enter hash, the enter, we click the enter button. And then with that, you will note that you can actually do away with this data. It's no longer important to us. Let me just do away with it once again. Okay, let me just delete the entire table. Yes, so I've been able to do away the entire table. So what has happened, I've been able to I've actually automated my work, and as a professional, my work is now easy such that once I want to come and perhaps get to know the exact number of sales rep and the respective items they did sell and their corresponding sales made, I just come here under the dashboard. Now the dashboard is just but a summary of the sales made by which exact sales rep and the exact items sold by that particular sales rep. So what I do, I come under the dashboard. I now come, since I've automated this task, what I come to do, I just come here and keep on changing this. I may opt one for, okay, let me say software. Let me see if there will be any changes. Software, yes. If I click software, you will note that it changes automatically, and I'll be able to determine the number of sales reps and of course their respective names that were able to sell software and their corresponding amounts. So for this case, you will note that the sales rep by the name Arturo Moore sold software of $3,800. Remember, it's in dollars, as you can see from the table. And Brendan Wallace was also able to make a sale of $4,625 of software, and so on and so forth. And we can go on and on. Let's say we can also we can pick on, let's say, laptops. I want us to confirm the amount of sales made from the laptops. So once you click laptops and click outside that particular cell, you will note that the sales, these are the sales reps. Below here are the sales reps that did what? That sold laptops, and the corresponding sales that were made are here, such that Jaden Anderson, Jaylene Knapp, Jordan Bond, all those sales reps were able to make these okay, actually they all sold laptops, and these are the corresponding sales that they made out of these out of the sales. Now you can go on and on. This actually this automating this will enable you as a bookkeeper, accountant, or any other person working in a data related company, or maybe you are a data analyst, or you're doing something related to data analysis and so on and so forth. It enables you ideally to do what? To automate work, so that when asked to compute the total amount of maybe laptops, and of course giving the respective names of the sales reps, I mean any other thing that will be related to this, you'll just be able to come and compute them automatically. Maybe just the last one, we can maybe pick another random item sold. The item sold they can pick here is let's say furniture. Let me just type here furniture. Okay, once I click on furniture, I click outside that cell, I'll be able to know the exact sales reps and the respective sales that they made out of selling this item furniture. Yes, we can go on and on. Let me reverse this to cars. Yes, these are the people, the sales reps that were able to sell cars. And now we can also calculate the average sales of cars. We can calculate the average sales of software made from selling software, electronics, motor vehicles, tech services, furniture, notes and coins, educational services, and so on and so forth. So what happens? What I do, I just come in here and compute the formula for average sales, whereby I come just and click the equal sign. I come here and type the average text function, whereby the average text function says that it returns the average, that's arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be numbers or names, arrays or references that contain numbers. So I just click average, and my average, since I want to have this data automated, what I do, I come and highlight my numbers will be from here up to that particular point. Yes, and I'll be able to, I hit the closing parenthesis and hit enter, and then by doing that I'll be able to have computed the average sales made from selling cars will be $4,583.33. If I happen to change this item sold, let's say I now need an average sales for software and hit enter, I'll be able to get that. Yes, and of course the respective sales reps and the respective sales that were made by these individual sales reps. I can do this. I can also, let's say I want one for laptops. I want to get the average sales for laptops. I just come and click there, laptops, and I'll be able to determine the average sales made from selling laptops. Yes, maybe I can think of any other. If my manager, if my boss asks me what was the average sales of maybe vaccines, yes, I just come and confirm vaccines for you. I just hit vaccines and I'll be able to compute now the average sales made from what? From vaccines. The last one I can have, let's say, what else? Maybe what am I interested in? I can have, this last time, let me have furniture. Who are those that sold furnitures? Sorry for that, it's the wrong spelling for furnitures. It should be furniture, not furniture. Sorry for that. When I hit that, I get the corresponding sales rep and their respective sales made out of selling furniture. So the same goes on and on. I can now come and determine the minimum sales made by these sales reps. So what I do, I come here under minimum sales, I input the formula. We have the min text function. The min text functions returns the smallest number in a set of values, ignores logical value and text. So I just hit that, and like as I had done last time, I come and highlight that data. I input the closing parenthesis and hit enter. So the minimum sales for furniture has returned to you, or as you can see from the screen, is at $800 and $3,600 for those respective sales reps. We can also check one for, I think we can check one for maximum sales. What to do, just come, input your formula. Of course, begin with the equal sign, since we are dealing with formula and functions. So input that, come and say maximum, let's say I want this. Let me just compute all this, and then I'll be able to keep on changing that. And also what I want the sales rep count. Yes, I want to count the sales reps. So what I come and do, I use a function called count. So text function called count. So let me just confirm that if it works well. Okay, we'll be able to do that. Yes, 2. So you'll note that the sales reps that actually made the sale of furniture were 2. You can see corner wise, even though that could be a repetition there. But then what we can do, since I said this has been automated, when you change this on the item sold, let's say we need now cars, you see, it actually changes automatically. So we are able to automatically compute the average sales. We are able to automatically compute the minimum sales made. We are able to automatically compute the maximum sales made, and finally we are able to determine, or rather to compute, the number of sales rep that were able to do it, to sell cars. We can change, let's say, one for, we are interested in those who sold laptops. Yes, that's the number of sales rep that were able to sell laptops was 7 in number. You can count manually. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, we can also maybe able to determine the number of what else? I think we've been able to count. You can see the average sales made out of this, and so on and so forth. Let's check for the last one. You can have one for, let's say, what can I see? Software. Let me just confirm one for software. If I click enter, I'll be able to know the number of sales reps that sold the software plus their corresponding sales made out of selling that particular item. So this is a very fundamental area that if you learn, you'll be able to automate most of your work. Yeah, we do this just to ensure that at least you do your work quickly, enhancing efficiency in organizations and at a personal level. Yeah, with that said and done, thank you so much. I'm Camilo Mkaga. Yes, keep tuned. Just in case you have any query, kindly reach out to me. You can contact me, you can contact us, the African Center for Data Science and Analytics Limited. Share this content with the rest of your team so that at least you do not benefit alone, but rather benefit with the rest. Otherwise, thank you so much. Keep on subscribing for more content. Otherwise, thank you and goodbye.